All right, get ready. I'm doing my first bell ringing. All right, welcome to the greatest Rotary. All right, and those of you that didn't know it, Sedro Woolley Rotary, greatest Rotary in the universe. I'm going to call this meeting to order, and thank you, Team January, for getting everything ready to roll. And I think first on Christine's list, she sent to me is our invocation or words of wisdom from Bill McCann.
I tried this once before. I don't know if it's words of wisdom or not, but I'm going to subject you to it again. Bow our heads and let us pray. Some folks do it every day. We give thanks to the gods that in this world, despite the odds, we landed here in this great county, a place chock full of Eden's bounty. Was it just luck or a divine plan that plopped us here and not Iran? Some of you will find it odd that I don't place my faith in God. Instead of big biblical compliance, I put my trust in fact and science. Still, we must learn to love our brother as if we had a common mother. Though our thoughts and themes will still collide, we should unite and not divide. We really need to help each other. And the Golden Rule gives us a plan for treating every girl and man. I see our planet warming faster by the acts of man, not the master. Did God out there create pollution, and will she impose the last solution? Is it her will to grab and send our world to a crashing end? No, though some of you might not relate. Man must fix our sorry state. Was Earth created and master planned in ways that we don't understand? We may pause to wonder why or how, but I, for one, decline to bow. There you go.
Thank you, sir. All right, while we're up here standing, let's do our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And Daryl, do we have a song?
I do. My 88-year-old father passed away a couple months ago, and for 43 years, he was a railroad man. We're going to do I've Been Working on the Railroad. Keith. I've been working on the railroad all my livelong days. I've been working on the railroad just to pass the time away. And you hear the whistle blowing, rise up so early in the morn. And you hear the band loading, Dinah, blow your horn. Dinah, won't you blow, Dinah, won't you blow, Dinah, won't you blow your horn. Dinah, won't you blow, Dinah, won't you blow, Dinah, won't you blow your horn. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Strumming on the old banjo and singing fee-fi, fiddly-I-O, fee-fi, fiddly-I-O, fee-fi, fiddly-I-O. Strumming on the old banjo. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. It's always fun to watch people who are visiting Rotary, like they're singing songs. So do we have any visiting Rotarians? Any visiting Rotarians? All right, seeing none, moving forward. Do we have any guests of Rotarians besides anniversaries or student of the month? Nothing other than, all right. And Carl, do we have any anniversary
It
acknowledgements?
looks like we might have one. We have a possibility here. Daryl, you want to tell us about it?
My wife, Sherilyn, we celebrated 5 days ago our 55th wedding anniversary. I won't tell you about all of our family, except we just this last summer had our 20th great grandchild. So,
Sherilyn, you want to tell us about the Sparkin Days?
That was a very imperceptible shake of the head. No, I don't want to.
They're still happening. Excellent. That's a good answer. Well done. All right. And I don't know why my wife, Yulia, is not here to present you with a flower, but I will definitely fine her $20 for that. All right.
Excellent. Thank you, Carl. Now we're on to club business. It's time to start turning in auction items, silent auction items, almost live auction items. The committee is hard at work. Let Tomasz or John Janicki know if you have a sponsor in mind. Remember, every Sedro Woolley Rotarian is a member of the auction committee. You'll see on your desk, it started. The donation forms are on the tables in front of you. And we want to make sure we start getting those. I know Rick Lemley said he's already gotten some items and getting the procurement stuff going. And one other reminder, make sure if you're a team captain or if your team captain hasn't contacted you to get in touch with them and start making a team plan. I'll be doing that this next week with our team and just to make sure that we're moving forward. The next thing on club business is crystal ball. And Carl, can you get the mic to Mike?
Mike the mic. Well, I have one of the lovely trophies here. This is the one you don't want to win, but Crystal Ball will be on February 8th. And then for all the committee members, we're going to have a meeting after to start going through the questions and pick our test out. So right here at this table after the meeting.
Right on. And that other trophy is sitting on the desk of a very smart engineer right now who might have forgot to bring it. So.
And so one of the notes that I've got here is that the Crystal Ball 2024 will be on the February 8th meeting. Excellent. Thank you. Do we have any other announcements, club business wise, from the floor?
David Brickett.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Lynn. I just want to encourage everyone to register for the District 50/50 conference, which is May 4th. It's going to be over the weekend. That's Saturday, May 3rd through the 5th with a big event on the 4th at Mount Vernon High School. It's really going to be a lot of fun. I am on the committee for the conference. I'm unfortunately not going to be here, but a lot of great speakers are lined up. Like I say, it's at Mount Vernon High School, and it's very family friendly. Families are encouraged to participate. The Children's Museum is going to be involved to do some fun stuff with the kids. So check it out on the website and encourage everyone to sign up.
Thanks, David. Anyone else?
All right. Nothing else. I think we're into students of the month. Carrie Carlton, would you like to step up with your crew?
Thank you so much, Lynn. I just want to share what an honor it is today. Again, I say this, and so I'm going to say it again. It is my absolute favorite day of the month to present our outstanding seniors that will be graduating in June and carrying on our legacy of Sedro Woolley High School with them. I am pleased to start with Nia. Nia Catwick is the daughter of Chet and Katrina Catwick of Sedro Woolley. Nia maintains a 4.0 GPA while being extremely involved at our high school. She's a 3-year member of National Honor Society and is currently the Community Service Coordinator. She is our Vice President of Washington Tech Student Association and a member of the Gilder Lehrman Student Advisory Council. Nia is a Running Start student at Skagit Valley College, and when she earns her high school diploma in June, she will also be earning her associate's degree. Outside of school, Nia enjoys hanging out with friends and family, traveling with family to national parks, and thrifting. Nia currently works at Cascade Physical Therapy and Sports Clinic. She's worked there for 3 years as a receptionist and a custodian. She loves the relationship she builds with the patients and staff. I want to share with you that Nia, as you walk around the school, she always has a smile on her face. She's very humble. She leads with grace, and I am excited to see her future. So I'm going to have her come to the microphone, share with her who is here with her today, and also her plans after graduation.
Hi, I'm with Chet and Katrina Catwick, and after graduation, I plan to go to University of Washington to study engineering.
Yeah, Mom, Dad, can you wave to everyone because it takes a village around here. So I also want Nia to share why she decided to go into engineering.
Well, at the beginning of this year, I was pretty undecided about my major, and I've been taking calculus with Mr. Jensen, and I realized how much I enjoy doing math and that I like doing calculus. So I was like, might as well go into engineering because it's a lot of calculus.
So congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I know there's a few engineers in this building that might be talking to Nia after the show. I am honored to now introduce to you Julian Rodriguez Padilla, the son of Rachel Rodriguez and Danny Ramirez and Manuel Padilla of Sedro Woolley. Julian maintains a 3.7 GPA while being actively involved at our high school. He's a 3-sport athlete and is lettering in football, wrestling, all 4 years of high school, and lettering 3 years in track and field. He's what we call a triple threat athlete. He's a member of our National Honor Society and Varsity in Volunteerism. Julian earned 7 department awards in the 2022-23 school year. He's earned many athletic awards over the last few years, including first team all-conference in 2022 defensive lineman, second team all-conference 2023, wrestling Northwest Conference co-wrestler of the 2023 year. Julian took 8th place at state for wrestling last year, and this year's tournament will be coming up in February. And we just learned coming into today that he was named the WIAA Student Athlete of the Week this week for the entire state of Washington. Outside of school, Julian enjoys spending time with his family and friends, weightlifting, listening to music, and attending church. The most important thing to Julian is his faith, which drives him to conquer any obstacle or challenge that life throws his way. During football season, you can find Julian helping out with the Sedro Woolley Youth Football League, and he also helps with the Christmas sponsorship program, wrapping and delivering presents to those in need. So I'm excited to have Julian come to the microphone to share who is with him here today and also his plans after graduation.
Hello, I'm Julian Rodriguez Padilla. I'm here with my mother, Rachel Rodriguez. My plans after college is to continue to play football or wrestling, depending which one I get offered. My top schools are Washington University, Whitworth University, Oregon State University, and Linfield University. And I will be studying business and marketing or the field of architecture. So, yeah.
And not to brag, Julian is also extremely humble, and he's a great role model to have on our campus. So thank you for allowing us this chance to honor these two excellent seniors, and for David Brick always helping with the photographs in the back. So congratulations, Mom and Dad. We're very excited for their future. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to see the bright and wonderful kiddos that we're seeing in high school. Thank you all for coming today. We do appreciate it. Moving on, let's see. Raffle. Do we have a raffle?
We have a raffle. First up, number 59. Mike Janicki. Beer. Hey, look at that. All right, next up, number 4.
All right, Nick.
Nick. More beer. Hey, why don't you take the blue wine instead? All right, next up, 57. Sorry. Yeah, the fish got away.
All right, we're all done with
Okay,
that.
I'm on.
Yep, you're up.
All right, today the theme is Sergeant at Arms. Guess what? That's what I am today. But one of the things we need to do regularly at Rotary is we need to teach each other what it means to be a Sergeant at Arms. And right out of the gate, I started reading about this from the website of the Rotary Club International. And it says that I'm supposed to maintain a dignified and effective, orderly Rotary Club with dignity and prestige. And I look around the room and I don't know how we're going to get that accomplished, but we'll try anyway. Okay, so I just have a couple of questions. I'm not going to make a big deal out of this. This table here, what are 2 things that the Sergeant at Arms should do for $1? Collect money, collect fines. That's good. Yep. We're about education today. It's not about money. That's one. One more. Handle the mic. That's not on the list. So it's part of the thing, you know. A good effort, but still $1. Okay, this table here. What are 2 things that a Sergeant at Arms needs to do according to Rotary International? Recognize birthdays and anniversaries. That's not on the list. Recognize special things that people have done. Sorry, that's not on the list. Those are both good ideas. Keep order, yes. Okay, you got one, so $1. All right. Give me one thing that a Sergeant at Arms should do according to Rotary Club International. Make sure we're wearing our badges. That's a great answer. Good job. How about this table here? One more thing. Make it a good one. We're running out of things. Generate revenue through the club. Yeah. The follow-up question, how much should fines be according to RI? What's the upper limit of what a fine should be? $5. Exactly right. This is how you do it, guys, right here. These guys are smart. All right. We're running really thin on things. What else should we do as an Sergeant at Arms? Yes, recognize visiting Rotarians. Excellent. We have one Rotarian here, so one question, Rotarian. Make people smile. That's a great idea. And you're excellent at that. But no, that's $1. All right. Huh? To inform. Is that your final answer, Rotarian? Sorry, you have to pay $1. All right. If you are, now we had an email earlier today from President-elect Ruth Richardson. And she has a request in there. If you have not volunteered to be the live auction procurement chair, that'll be $1. Stephen, can you help me with the dollars? And Sheena, can you help me with the dollars? And I have one more fine, and that's it, and then we'll go to Happy Bucks. I hear with great excitement and trepidation that it is Chicken Fest time. So if you're not going to go to Chicken Fest, that'll be $1. There's 3 chances. There are 3 Chicken Fest games. All right, Happy Bucks. Anybody with a Happy Buck? Mike?
I got a happy 20. As some of you might have noticed, I've been kind of scarce for the last 2 months. We have been traveling the world, I guess, so to speak. We've been on 18 different planes in the last 2 months. Spent 2 weeks in Scotland seeing our youngest daughter, Madeline. Went to Reno to see our eldest daughter. Went to Tampa Bay to see our son, Michael. And then right after Christmas, we headed off to South Africa to watch my nephew get married. And we spent 2 weeks over there going on safari and visiting Cape Town and seeing all the animals and penguins. And I would highly recommend South Africa. If anybody has it on their bucket list, do it. It's wonderful. But then we got to come home, and the weekend of what was 14, 15, 16, we got flooded at the beach. Luckily, it was just maintained to the yard, didn't get in the house. But after going up there to inspect that, we came home to find broken pipes out in Big Lake. And probably 90% of my garage has to be rebuilt. So, yeah, good with the bad, I guess.
What a great trip, followed by a crummy experience. Yeah, I had a broken pipe too. I should find everybody that didn't have a broken pipe, but I won't.
I have a happy 20 for Nia and Julian. They have also offered to take over the school tomorrow because I'm not going to be there, as I'm traveling to Tennessee to watch Wyatt, my son, swim. It's the last home meet for Tennessee. He started his freshman year, and so I'm excited to watch him. So thank you, Nia and Julian. I appreciate you taking over for me. And then also, I want to share just a happy 20 for Rachel Rodriguez, who she helps out at the high school with all the seniors. She's our college and career counselor, and she helps them with the scholarships for Rotary and all the things, helps them find their path. And so I'm just grateful to be able to work with Rachel. Thank you.
No surprise there that her son is upwardly mobile. I like that. Well done, Mom. Anybody else? John, how much money you got in your pocket? All right, get some out. That's probably too much. We don't need to hit you that hard. Okay, we'll take it. Thank you, John. And the reason is you're stealing your brother's beer and you're late to Rotary. I mean, God, you want to? Is that part of you paid enough? You can have a rebuttal.
You're doing a really good job as the Sergeant of Arm. I'm glad we're all trained now that we're going to do all the right things, and everyone's supposed to smile, right, Carrie?
Right on. All right.
I just have one more. I got a happy 20 here. This happy 20 is if you guys will give Christine or Ruth a report that I did okay today. It's kind of a Rotary bribe. I'd appreciate it. I don't want to get a bad report card to the boss lady.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Thank
we're
you.
done? All right. So it's time for early leavers. If you are leaving early, if you could drop off a couple of dollars, either at the front counter here or leave it on your table, we'll take care of it. And we won't look at you and shame you, Joe Ellen, or anybody else that's leaving. But thanks for coming. And I'm going to ask Nick to come up here and introduce our speaker for the day. And our guests here, if you need to bug out, feel free to bug out if you need. You don't have to pay any money either. So you can just, there you go. Thank you once again for coming. We do appreciate you.
I get to introduce Dan Sloan today. Had a chance to sit and have lunch with him. I just found out he helped us out at our auction. His wife is a Rotarian in Mount Vernon. So he's one of us. Dan works for PACCAR. He is a test engineering technician out there, which is basically inspecting, rebuilding, testing diesel engines. He's been doing that since 2005. Dan was a chief engineer for Adventure Cruise Lines before that, up in Southeast Alaska and Mexico. Kind of interested in hearing about that. I don't think that's part of the deal today, but I'll talk to you later about it. He is a husband to Amanda Sloan, 2 kids, 18 and 15, Max and Dagny. He enjoys mountain biking, hiking, and exercising their Jack Russell Terrier, Jackie, who I don't think you can tire those things out. So if you can help me welcome Dan Sloan.
All right, I get to do something that's out of my wheelhouse today. So yeah, I'll have to address the elephant in the room. I am the guy that stood you guys up the last time. So, but technically, if you would have been here 24 hours later, I would have been here. You know, I just got the day wrong on that. And then I also wanted to say that if I was, you know, somebody was judging how well I'm doing, I'm technically doing 100% better this time than I did last time. So anyway, so I've been at the, like you said, I've been at the PACCAR Technical Center since 2005. I worked for the cruise line, and I was looking for something, you know, near our house. And fortunately for me, I have a 10-minute drive to work every day, to and from work. Our school for our kids, everything was all right in that little area. It worked out really well. And it was my neighbor that got me the, turned on to it, Keith Winland. He worked in the, on the brakes of the truck. And at that time, they were transitioning over to disc brakes on the truck. So he was pivotal in that. Really quick, I wanted to talk about the role of the Technical Center is, you know, it's basically, it was built in 1982, and it's for validating our product. We wanted to make sure that the warranty was not on the customer as much as it was on us. So we try to test everything before it goes to the customer. That saves us a lot on warranty. It actually pays for the place in warranty savings. And, you know, the power bill there is over $1 million a year. We have like a $3 million, you know, fuel bill. I mean, it costs the company quite a bit to run that place, but it's well worth it. And we have the premium product on the market. We pretty much always have the premium product. We have about 480 employees currently there, and there's a total of 31,000 employees worldwide at working for PACCAR. They're literally all over the world. And, you know, they go back so long, you know, with defense contracts and things like that. They know a little bit of everybody. And I'm looking out in this crowd, and I can see some loggers out there. You know what a Kenworth and a Peterbilt is, for sure, you know, and most of the guys that drive them, they want to drive a Kenworth or Peterbilt over a Freightliner or one of the competitors' products. So I'm very happy to be working for them. They've been a wonderful employer. I can't say enough good things about them and how they just make me feel when I work out there. They've been able to bring a lot out of me. I get to work on a lot of really trick stuff, advanced tech. I get to do a lot of fabrication, you know, tear down, rebuild, inspection. I know leaps and bounds more than a guy changing parts now, because I used to change parts for a living. Now I know why the parts fail, and then what makes the part, you know, actually last in an engine and in the vehicle. Working with all the engineers that I've got to work with through the years. And, you know, touched on my background a little bit has been, you know, in boats and heavy truck, you know, industry and stuff like that. So I also wanted to say that, you know, everything that you see here today, it got here by a truck. That's not an understatement. Everything that, you know, moved all the trees, moved all the dirt, brought the materials in here, all got done with a truck. No train came by here and dropped it off, or airplane or anything. It was all done by truck. So working for one of those manufacturers that produces trucks is you know, you are a big part of the country and what is going on in the country. And I wanted to see if you want to move to the next slide real quick. Oh, is it me right here? Okay. Is this it? There we go. So I have a short little video. Hopefully it plays. So this is what we do, a little bit of what we do at the Tech Center. Oh, yeah, I think you're gonna have to click on the play button there. It's down there on the bottom. It's gonna loop. Okay, there we go. There's the guy with the really cool haircut there. So some of my day-to-day duties. This is me here. I'm in the test cell working on an engine. I just had to grab some of the stuff off our media site and have it all approved by managers and everything to be able to come and show it. So I figured they'd do that. So I touched on that briefly. You know, I get to do some tear down inspection and everything, but I have two test cells. One is for advanced tech and the other one is got the whole powertrain in it. So I have engine, transmission, and differential. And we also in the one that has the full powertrain in it, we're currently working on electric powertrains in there. But this right here, this is an engine and transmission, and that's our 13-liter engine and our 12-speed fully automated transmission that's behind it. Now you're on next slide here. Why is that? Oh, there we go. It was a little delayed. I think that's it. So shown here is the powertrain test cell I was talking about. This guy on my, he'd be on my right there. That's Chris Douglas. He was about 23 years old at that time. And that guy had already programmed the red key setting on the Dodge Hellcat. And he's one heck of a programmer. So he does the, a lot of the calibration now. On all modern engines, you have a computerized controller that runs the engine. Inside of that, the software is what we call the calibration, right? So, and you can make little tweaks to it to get better fuel economy, drivability, things like that. What we're doing right here is predictive cruise control, and that's look ahead. So it's using global positioning satellite, and it actually looks ahead at the road that's coming up, and it knows that there's a hill coming up. It'll go up that hill in the right gear, crest the hill at the right speed, roll over the hill, kick the transmission into neutral, coast down the hill, rev match the engine to the speed of the transmission, put it seamlessly back into gear, and roll out up to 5 miles an hour over your set cruise control limit. So that was very difficult to do, believe it or not, get all that programming in there. And he was very pivotal in that. He now works for Kenworth. And I just talked to him the other day, and he said he was in a meeting, and one of the older engineers looked at him and was trying to explain how predictive cruise control worked. And Chris said he had to bite his tongue through the whole thing. And then it'd come up to the end and say, yeah, that's what we currently use is what I did. So anyway, so it helps to know who's in the room sometimes, you know. So next slide. Okay. There's a top view of the engine that test cell 9. That's my advanced tech test cell. And looking from the left to the right of the screen, you're going to go through your charge air cooler. That's what cools down the charge that's coming out of the turbocharger. It's compressed air and it gets cooled down. So you have more condensed air charge going into the engine. The middle part of the screen there, it says PACCAR on that valve cover. This is, of course, looking down. You can see the pipe coming down where the air is going into the engine. To the right of that, there's a boom where all the instrumentation that we have pressures and temperatures are going up into that. And so we're monitoring the engine. And then over there up top of the right-hand screen, you can see the after treatment system or the exhaust, where the exhaust of the engine is going through. And behind the engine is the dynamometer. And that can both be it can absorb power or produce power. So it can like make you go down a hill, or the engine can actually power it. And believe it or not, it is a generator when the engine is powering it, but all of our test cells combined do not produce enough power to run the tech center, so nothing goes back out onto the grid. It's really incredible thinking that each of these engines are 350, 380 kilowatts, and you got 12 of them running in there, and that doesn't make enough power to run the facility. It's quite a bit of energy that we take. Okay, so a little bit of PACCAR history really quick. I wanted to touch on something that doesn't get talked about with PACCAR. They started out in the logging industry. William Piggott, he sold pig iron in Colorado, and he wanted to start a foundry out here in Seattle. So he successfully did that. And he sold, he had the rights to sell the Climax engine, for the logging industry. And so he built rail cars and was very successful at that. They bought Kenworth and Peterbilt and stuff through the years. But one of the things that they did is in the 1963 World's Fair, which very little people seem to know, is that the Space Needle was PACCAR. And Howard S. Wright is the builder. Now, Howard S. Wright married the daughter of the Piggotts. So they kept it all in the family, so to speak, because of the fact that Howard S. Wright and their siblings and everybody since is technically a Piggott of the Piggott family. And they still to this day build all of our major buildings. Howard S. Wright does. So they do a really good job of kind of keeping that in the family. So what I want to talk about with the Space Needle really quick is it was a really cool feat of engineering. What they did is they had the foundry still at that time. And there was an engineer that knew about heating one side of a beam and letting it cool. It would actually bend the beam, and it had never been done before. So their engineers said, yeah, I think we can do this to have that waistline, that really cool waistline, that the Space Needle has. So they did that. They took these big I-beams and they heated the one side of it and let it cool, and they got the perfect bend into them. And another thing that they did, and I found all this out at the Mohi Museum. You guys been down to the Mohi, the Museum of History and Industry down in Seattle? Highly recommend it. Should go through there. They go into a lot more in depth about things. They said that all the pieces, and this hadn't been done before, all the pieces of the Space Needle were pre-drilled and put into place, and they all fit. Not a single one of them didn't fit. And they did it all they laid it all out at their plant before they brought it to Seattle. They called it the 400-day wonder. Because the thing was start to finish, 400 days, they built that thing. And it was perfect. There was no mistakes. It's a really amazing thing. It was the largest, there was 5,600 tons of concrete poured continuously. It was the largest continuous pour of concrete west of the Mississippi at the time. A lot of firsts that were done with that. And it came in ahead of time and on budget. It cost $4.5 million to build it. It's 605 feet high. And it's one of the most photographed iconic things of Seattle to this day, and PACCAR almost gets zero credit about that. So I just wanted to show you some of the capabilities through the years that they've done. One of the things that they do is they run lean, and they challenge their employees to do things that are they're outside of the box. Outside of the box thinking is really promoted out there. And it doesn't matter how much of a little minion you are, they always are interested in ideas. I find that really fascinating about that company, and I really, really appreciate it. I've not had that in my life until I went to PACCAR. So okay, if I said the most iconic Kenworth of all time, you'd say W900. Everybody, ooh, yeah, that's the one I want, right? That is the 100th anniversary Kenworth that was at the Tech Center. That's that picture that was taken of it. I have pictures of these things because I wanted to stress that there was over 1 million Kenworths built long ago. To this day, I don't know what the number is. And then, whoops, I hope I don't go forward too far. Oh, now it's the delay. See, okay. Okay, most iconic Peterbilt is that style of Peterbilt. That's our new, what is that? 589. So that's the latest one that they just came out with. That's got our newest cab on it. And I'm sorry, they just released this like 2 days ago or something, like they were coming out with this thing. But that was at the Tech Center. It uses the iconic like 379 looking front end on it, but it's got the new wide cab and everything stuff. But once again, over 1 million Peterbilts have been sold through the years. Now, this is our company that's in the Netherlands, and I recently had, I don't know, a month or two ago now, I went to the Netherlands for a week, and got to go through all their plants and factories over there and see how the Dutch do things or whatever. And I got to say that they take a lot of pride in what they do, and they have a very good product. And I was extremely impressed with the Netherlands. And you see the guy in the center. I mean, he's this little cute little guy right there in the middle between the guys there. Well, if you look to the right and you see the guy in the yellow tie, that guy in the yellow tie is my height. So this guy over here on the left is about 7 feet tall. And I've never felt so short in my life when I was in the Netherlands. Like everybody over there is like 6'5" or 7 feet tall. I'm not kidding. I mean, everywhere I went, I was like looking up like, you gotta be kidding. Where do they feed these people over here? But yeah, that is not uncommon to see somebody bend down to go inside a building. But that, once again, that was their, let me go back up just a hair. Why is this not working? Yes, I don't know why. Okay, so once again, if you look on the windshield, that is the millionth DAF truck that was sold. So of the brands that PACCAR has, they own Leyland Foden in England, and they have DAF that's in the Netherlands. DAF is the second largest truck manufacturer in Europe. Mercedes is the first. The first largest truck manufacturer in the United States is Freightliner. The second is PACCAR. Who owns Freightliner? Mercedes. So we're always at basically industrial war with, Mercedes as the big competitor. But DAF, once again, is the premium truck in Europe, just like PACCAR products are the premium product here in the United States. So now if you want to. Okay. This is the Super Truck program. There's no, audio to this, but this is going through the Super Truck program, and that's a federal funded program. And all the manufacturers, the big trucking manufacturers in the United States have been working on this, and this is to increase fuel economy of the truck. And everything is published, so there's no, hidden industrial espionage going on. It's everybody talks with each other and publishes their reports on what they're doing. This right here is our latest truck, the Super Truck. That's the best aerodynamic design that they could come up with. And right here, it's going around the track at the PACCAR Technical Center under its own power, which was, it took some years to do that. Now that is a modular chassis. So it basically, you can bolt pieces to it. So a huge breakaway from the traditional type of, two frame rail type of truck. So, yeah, and I'm just going to loop again. So just go to the next. Okay. So moving on into the future of the technical center, that's my test cell again, and that's an electric motor that's in there, and that motor right there is a ZF motor, and that powers buses in Europe or whatever. So we just had this one in here to basically prove the concept of it working in the test cell. So it took a little bit, of ingenuity to get the thing to all work with the test cell that was designed originally to run diesel engines. We now have a battery emulator, so we don't have to have the batteries in the building. Batteries can be depending on the formulation of the battery, they can be very dangerous to have inside of a building. We do not use that formulation of battery. We have lithium iron phosphate is our formulation that we use, and it is a much safer formulation. However, if that was to catch on fire, it creates like a phosgene gas and would kill you dead. So you got to be out of the building. You can't breathe any of it. So rather than having those batteries in the building and having that risk, we have an emulator. The emulator can run, it's 1,000 volts DC and 1,600 amps of current. Which is more than enough, if 60 is enough to kill you, I'm sure, 1,600 is well beyond to fry you in your boots. So let's hope that I'm here in the future. Because that's kind of scary stuff to work with. I don't really like the potential that's there, but of course, the more energy that you put into something, the better it performs. So they want to start high instead of starting low on that sort of thing. And this is some of these slides are what I got from our PhD on site, which is Steve Ciotti. Have you moved the next slide? So this basically is talking about battery technology as we know it. So the redox reaction is basically like the battery in your car is they call it a spontaneous redox reaction. It's like moving, from one bucket to the next. And that's just basically really quick going through that. I just threw that up there just to show you that we have a different formulation that the industry is using right now as far as like lithium, ion batteries. So next slide. So then the lithium ion, he's saying it works by intercalculation or caltation. It's not, I always want to say calculation, intercaltation. Anyways, but not redox reaction. So it, has to travel through the membrane from one side to the other. And as it gets, one side's charging, like discharging, it moves back and forth. So that's a little bit of how that works. We could be here all day talking about that sort of thing. So I'm just going to move on a little bit from that one. So next slide, please. We got. Oh no, that's my good side there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it was just, sorry. Go. Okay, right there. There we go. So this is the important slide to show you what we're having to work with right now, what we're having to deal with, and this is the differences between diesel and battery. And I can tell you that diesel is king when it comes to a Class 8 truck rolling down the highway. There is no comparison. So most Class 8 trucks have 150-gallon fuel tanks. A gallon of diesel is equal to, roughly, we'll just round down, say 37 kilowatt hours of energy. So that's roughly, 55,660 kilowatt hours of energy. And that's just at a 40% efficiency. Now we've got Super Truck was up over 50% brake thermal efficiency, mind you. So that goes way up with the new technology that we have for a diesel engine. So you say 2,265 kilowatt hours of usable energy on the truck because it only has 40%. And that is basically, he's right. That's so overwhelming that we don't even notice it. I mean, when you're filling your car, you have a megawatt of power in your hand when you're putting that in the tank of your car. Keep that in mind. Don't smoke when you're, So anyway, the battery electric vehicle trucks currently have roughly a limit of 450 kilowatt hours of electrical energy. And that's basically 20% of diesel. The other problem is that here's the key. It weighs 13,000 pounds and occupies almost, 2 meters squared of space. So cubic meters, sorry. And so that's a significant issue for a Class 8 long haul and vocational trucks as well, because weight is everything. You want to haul more payload. That's more payload, more payload, more payload. That's what you want. It makes you more money. The more you can haul with, so the lighter the truck is and the more it'll haul, the better off you are. That's not the case for battery electric trucks. But here's the caveat to that is the closer you get to an automobile, the easier it is and the more sense it makes. So the small cars, pickup trucks, medium duty trucks, delivery box vans, all that sort of stuff will definitely be electrified completely. It makes a lot more sense. The line trucks, that the guys are using to work on the power grid, that sort of thing will be all electric. It makes a lot more sense when you look at it on paper and what they can do with it. But the future of the Class 8 truck, diesel's not going anywhere right now because of these very reasons. So one of the things that is coming down the pike, a couple of the things that are coming down the pike, I get these questions when people come through the lab. We do have alternative fuels that we can run diesels on that make them cleaner. And we also have the ability to do hybrid. And if you look at Toyota, what they've done with hybrid and how reliable their hybrid system is on a mass scale, it's pretty amazing. And, to increase fuel economy and the complexity of it, it used to be, it's too complex. We won't do that. We'd rather just go full electric because it's less complex than hybrid. But hybrid technology is proven itself to be pretty good. So most likely what you'll see coming down in the future for highway long haul trucks, vocational trucks is in especially garbage trucks, things like that will be hybrid. Let's see. So I have that was my second to last slide. So really quick, it's 5 minutes after. I have a video of the last year's open house, because I wanted to mention that one of the last things I wanted to talk about is the fact that PACCAR has an open house every year, and the fact that they have this book of their history I brought. It's called The Pursuit of Quality. It's a really good book. I highly recommend you guys reading it, or maybe you can get it off Amazon or something like that. And then also attending our open house. Open house is always the second weekend in April. So Tulip Festival, think of going to the PACCAR open house. Typically rains that weekend. It's a good thing to do indoors. And you guys want to see the video of the last open house real quick? Okay. Okay, and then you have to go play it. Yeah, there you go. All right. And I also want to close with saying that anybody that has a fine PACCAR product that would like to bring it to the open house, please do so. So bring your Kenworth or your Peterbilts by, please. And if you need a contact for that, just say, Dan Sloan said I could bring my truck. So, all right. Thank you.
You have a moment or two for any questions? Yep, here we go.
Sorry, you're right. I just, yeah, please, questions.
I'm sure we have some questions. John?
How's your hiring and retention?
Oh.
How's the hiring and retention for those of you at home?
In the lab I work in, or in the whole company? Well, I've been there 18 years, and there's quite a few of us that have been there, that I've worked with guys that have been there 32 to 35 years. Pretty good. You know, the Gen Zers, they're a lot more difficult to please. I see a bunch of smiles, you know, and they are more difficult to keep happy. So I don't know if that's a generational thing, but the retention is pretty good at the company.
You need to put in a dog park, and that's all you need.
And don't have the trucks near the dog park though.
Yeah. I
have a question. I have a tractor, diesel tractor, and I'm continually annoyed that it has the automatic emissions PM10 capture, whatever system on it. So I have to run it at a high RPM above 2000 to keep it from going into that cycle all the time. So I'm thinking in my mind that I'm wasting diesel and creating more fumes and then capturing them than if I just let it idle at a low idle. Do you have any numbers on any of that? Is there any science to that? Are we actually saving the planet, or are we burning up more diesel?
Yeah, it takes, that's the whole key is called doing a passive regen. So what you want is a diesel's a thermal engine, and if you can run it where it's optimum all the time, it'll keep all that soot. What's going on is the soot that's in the filter, you need to burn that soot up and turn it into an ash, right? And eventually what'll happen is it gets plugged with enough ash, you have to take the filter out and blow it out and clean it, dispose of the ash according to your, federal, whatever, you all understand. And then put it back together, and then it should be, functioning again. But ultimately, if you can keep the engine in a place where it keeps that soot burnt and turning into ash without having to add fuel, we call it the seventh injector because we have an inline six, right? 6-cylinder engine. So we basically have another fuel injector after the turbo that turns on and adds fuel into the system, and it hits an oxidizing catalyst, and that's in order to get that diesel to kick off and get hot enough to burn the soot that's in the brick. If you're going around nowadays and you ever see a new truck and that stack is black, that brick has been cracked. So it's probably throwing faults and everything, and it's not happy because that tailpipe should be just perfectly clean, because that brick works really well when it's actually functioning correctly.
So I think I'm right then. We are wasting diesel
Yes,
to
you
keep
are
the
wa-
air clean. Okay,
Yes.
so we're hurting the environment to save the environment. Okay, got it.
So, yeah, that boils down to CARB, ARB, and the EPA, right? Those governing boards, they feel that it's that's a necessary evil right now with the technology the way it is to burn. I see you shaking your head. It's like, yes, you're right. You're burning more diesel.
So I have one
Yeah.
for you. We've had Kenworths, I don't know, since 70 or 68 or whatever. We replaced the aux with a Kenworth. But the one thing that I don't think you guys test enough is driving your trucks when they've put that garbage, whatever they put on the highway to melt the ice.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely is eating
Yeah.
our electrical systems.
Yeah, I know. They have that at the tech center. They have a bath that they drive them through on the durability track. But I also thought that same thing, like you guys are not, and I still do. I still think the same thing because my own vehicles get eaten alive by that stuff. If you don't take them right home and wash it off, the neighbors think I'm crazy out there at night washing that stuff off. It's like, this stuff is awful.
Well, you're talking
Yeah.
about road salt, right?
It's not, well, there's a few different formulations that they use, but it depends on, there's no regulatory board that says this county, everybody has to use this standard that doesn't chew up cars. Some guy's using rock salt, the next guy's using some other chemical, and then whoever got a deal on, the next county got a deal on some other road chemical. And I mean, there's not a standard, so to speak, that everybody sticks by. So, yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much. We really
You bet.
appreciate it.
All right. And before you leave, Dan, we've got you a coveted Rotary pin. And if we can give Dan one more round of applause, thanking him for his talk. And always remember not to turn the mic over to an engineer to ask other engineers questions. I didn't understand most of what they were talking about, but there's that. We want to thank, let's see, our students of the month, Julian and Leah. Thank you for bringing parents and coming today. It was wonderful to see you. Daryl, thank you for bringing the wife, Sherilyn. We appreciate that. Dan, thank you for coming today. We do appreciate you here. A couple of things before we go. I did get a lengthy joke of the week sent to me, so I think I have to read it, or I may get fired from my position. So, a shepherd was herding his flock in a remote pasture when suddenly a brand new BMW came out of the dust cloud toward him. The driver, a young man dressed in a fancy suit and tie, leaned out the window and asked the shepherd, "If I tell you exactly how many sheep you have in your flock, will you give me one?" The shepherd looked at the man, obviously a yuppie, and then looked at his peaceful, grazing flock and calmly answered, "Sure." The yuppie parked his car, whipped out his computer, connected it to a cell phone, then surfed to a NASA page on the internet where he called up the GPS satellite navigation system, scanned the area, and then opened up a database an Excel spreadsheet with complex formulas. This seems to go perfect with Dan talking here about all this stuff. He sent an email on his BlackBerry and after a few minutes received a response. Finally, he prints out a 130-page report on his miniaturized printer, then turns to the shepherd and says, "You have exactly 1,586 sheep." "That is correct. Take one of the sheep," said the shepherd. He watches the young man select one of the animals and bundle it in a car. Then the shepherd says, "If I can tell you exactly what your business is, will you give me my animal back?" The guy says, "Okay, why not?" answered the young man. "Clearly, you are a consultant." The young man says, "That's correct. But how did you guess that?" "No guessing required," answers the shepherd. "You turned up here, although nobody called you. You want to get paid for an answer I already knew to a question I never asked, and you don't know crap about my business. Now give me back my dog." So once again, thank you guests for showing up. Before we leave, if we could, stack chairs, as many people as we can to get the chair stacked before we're cleaning up. Don't forget, start working on acquisitions for the auction. And